Did you know one of the simplest machine learning algorithms is still being used by tech giants like Google, Facebook, and Amazon, even though they have the most advanced AI in the world? The secret lies in a surprisingly powerful algorithm called naive Bayes. It sounds naive, but wait until you see why this so called simple algorithm is still a favorite in the real world. In machine learning, one of the most important tasks is classification. Classification means teaching a model to place data into categories. Instead of predicting a number, like we do in regression, classification predicts a label. For example, an email can be classified as spam or not spam. A bank transaction can be classified as fraud or not fraud. A customer review can be classified as positive, negative, or neutral. In fact, classification is everywhere in IT companies, from Gmail spam filters to fraud detection in banking apps, to analyzing customer opinions on e commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, and Meesho. What is naive Bayes algorithm and why do we need that algorithm specifically when we do have so many algorithms for classification? Naive Bayes is a probabilistic classification algorithm based on Bayes' theorem. In simple words, it calculates the probability that a data point belongs to a certain class based on evidence from its features. The naive part comes from the assumption that all features are independent of each other. Of course, in the real world, features are not always independent. But this assumption makes the math simple and the algorithm extremely fast. And here's the surprising part. Even with this unrealistic assumption, Naybase often performs very well in practice. Take spam detection as an example. If your email contains words like free, win, or offer, Naybase calculates the probability that this email is spam. The higher the probability, the more confidently it labels it as spam. That is why Gmail and other providers have relied on Naybase for years. Here comes the most important part of this video. Why Naybase? Why not other classification algorithms? The answer is clear. When you need speed, efficiency, and simplicity, Naybase is much faster than algorithms like support vector machines or decision trees. It works especially well with text heavy data sets like documents, reviews, and emails. It handles high dimensional data easily, meaning it can manage thousands or even millions of features, which is very common in natural language processing. And the best part is, it doesn't require a lot of training data to give good results. That's why IT companies love using it for real time predictions, quick deployment, and cost effective solutions. In Naybase, we have three main types. Based on the situation, we have to choose the right one. So let's look at the types of Naybase and where they are used. The first one is multimonial Naybase. This is most commonly used for document classification and text-related problems. It includes spam filtering, topic classification, and sentiment analysis. The second type is Bernoulli Naybase. This works best when features are binary, yes or no, present or absent. A good example is checking whether a document contains a certain word or not, and whether a user clicked an ad or not. The third type is Gaussian database. This is used when the features are continuous and normally distributed, like in medical diagnosis problems where we analyze attributes such as blood pressure, temperature, or cholesterol level. So, what makes Naviebase unique compared to other classification algorithms? First, its simplicity. It is easy to understand and easy to implement. Second, its speed. It can train and predict very quickly, even on huge data sets. Third, its scalability and capability. It works well even when there are millions of features, which is why it's natural fit for text classification. And finally, its robustness. Even when the independence assumption is not true, Naviebase often gives surprisingly strong results. Now let's go beyond the basics and see how Naybase is used in more advanced real-world applications. In healthcare, Gaussian Naybase has been applied in disease prediction. For example, predicting whether a tumor is benign or malignant using continuous features like cell size, shape, and density. In cybersecurity, Naybase is part of intrusion detection systems that classify network traffic as normal or suspicious, helping detect malware and cyber attacks in real time. In e commerce, companies like Amazon have used Naybase in recommendation systems to predict whether a customer is likely to buy a product based on browsing and purchase history. In media industry, large organizations such as news portals use Naybase to automatically categorize thousands of articles into sports, politics, and technology. And in finance, banks use Naybase for credit risk prediction, classifying borrowers as high risk or low risk, which helps in approving loans more securely. So, the next time you see a spam email filtered out or instant sentiment analysis on your favorite social media app, remember this. There's a good chance Naybase is silently working behind the scenes. It may look naive on paper, but in the real world, sometimes the simplest algorithm is the smartest choice.